On the African savanna, every encounter lasts only seconds, where instinct, speed, and timing determine everything. A single slow step or misjudgment can turn predator into prey. In this harsh land, there is no room for hesitation, only instantaneous reaction for survival. So what determines the last man standing? Strength, tactics, or the ability to adapt to the ever-present danger? On the savanna grasslands, zebras migrate hundreds of miles seasonally in search of water and grass. Each weighs approximately 500 to 700 pounds and relies on the herd for safety. The ample space allows for early detection, but also makes slower-moving zebras more easily spotted and targeted. On the edge of the grassland, a spotted hyena had been observing the herd beforehand. It circled to avoid attention. Upon spotting a zebra slowing down and separating from the herd, it began to accelerate. A chase ensued, with the zebra constantly changing direction to rejoin the herd, while the hyena continued to pursue, gradually closing in from behind. At the closing stage, the hyena intensified its attack from behind, creating constant pressure that destabilized the zebra. The collisions and grip weakened the prey, preventing it from maintaining its speed. After a short distance, the hyenas gained the upper hand, and in an open environment, maintaining formation often determines the outcome. Along the rivers, lakes, and swamps of Africa, Nile crocodiles congregate at frequently visited water spots. Murky water conceals movement, gently sloping banks facilitate ambushes, and a dense prey supply maintains survival pressure. Once they leave the water's edge to move on land, their sense of direction diminishes rapidly, making their position vulnerable. As soon as an opportunity arises, a lion observes from a distance on the riverbank. Instead of attacking immediately, it circles, maintaining distance and approaching from the side. When the crocodile exerts force to turn towards the water, the lion accelerates, cutting its path, forcing the crocodile to constantly change direction, gradually losing its ability to maintain orientation. In this disrupted movement, the crocodile turns its body to defend itself, while the lion maintains its position and avoids danger. However, the distance to the water's edge is too great to regain the advantage. After a few moments, the movement slows down and the situation comes to a close. During the Great Migration in East Africa, herds of wildebeest move continuously through the rain and grass across vast grasslands, each weighing between 400 and 600 pounds. They can reach nearly 50 miles per hour and react quickly to danger. They rely on their numbers for early warning, but when the herd is dispersed, coordination diminishes and pressure builds. Instead of charging head-on, wildebeest herds spread out across the grasslands, adjusting their movement to create pressure from multiple directions. When the herd begins to become disoriented, they accelerate rhythmically, forcing their target to constantly change direction. A wildebeest that deviates from the general rhythm is kept under control, and the chase escalates. The constant pressure causes the prey to slow down and lose stability in its direction. Attempts to rejoin the herd become ineffective. After just a few seconds of struggle, the antelope was unable to move further, and the chase ended, demonstrating that losing its bearings before the formation directly determined the outcome. Impalas primarily inhabit savanna grasslands and sparse shrublands in eastern and southern Africa, particularly in Kenya, Tanzania, Namibia, and South Africa. They typically forage in open grasslands, moving near shrublands and water sources to find shelter. However, each time they descend to the water's edge to drink, impalas are vulnerable to ambushes by aquatic predators. Below the surface, crocodiles maintain their position and wait in near immobility. When an impala approaches the water's edge and lowers its guard, the crocodile suddenly lunges from underwater. The reaction is swift, but the limited range of movement prevents the prey from creating space to escape, putting it at a disadvantage. Losing its mobility advantage, the crocodile grips its target and drags it toward the water, causing the impala to lose its balance. It attempts to escape, but quickly weakens as the environment becomes unfavorable. In a short time, the prey is unable to defend itself and is trapped, demonstrating that accessing water sources always carries inherent risks. African buffaloes are widely distributed throughout the sub-Saharan savanna, often living in large herds of hundreds in the Serengeti and migrating seasonally. They are found in grasslands, open woodlands, and near water sources. Each buffalo weighs approximately 1,100 to 2,000 pounds, with thick muscles and a very strong neck that provides effective protection against danger. But even a slight misstep in movement quickly diminishes the herd's protection. Taking advantage of this, the lion stays on the edge of the herd, observing from a distance, moving low through the tall grass for cover. When the herd is unaware of the danger, it silently closes the gap. When close enough, it accelerates, cutting across the herd's path, forcing a buffalo to constantly change direction and gradually lose the initiative. The buffalo tries to resist with strong movements but cannot maintain distance. Its resistance diminishes without the herd's support. After just a few seconds of tension, it could no longer move and became food for the lion. In the savannas, open forests, and hills throughout sub-Saharan Africa, baboons are widely distributed in open terrain interspersed with shrubs and cliffs. In the Serengeti, they forage in grasslands but retreat to trees or cliffs at night to avoid predators. The troops have a clear hierarchy, and when they disperse to find food, the distance between individuals gradually widens, reducing safety. In the dense bushes along the riverbank, the leopard lies low and observes the troops' movements. It doesn't charge immediately, but quietly changes position, choosing an approach angle to cut off the prey's escape route. When prey passes by, it makes a short burst of speed, forcing a slow reaction and causing the troops' direction to become chaotic. The baboon tries to return to the troop and signal a warning, constantly adjusting its direction to find an escape. However, the escape route is blocked and the distance cannot be narrowed. After only a few moments, its speed decreases significantly, and its ability to defend itself weakens. The situation ended when it was subdued and became food for the leopard. In sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in the Okavango Delta, Botswana, African wild dogs live in open environments and move in organized packs, each weighing between 40 and 80 pounds. Their light bodies and long legs allow them to maintain speeds of around 37 miles per hour for extended periods. However, when they stop to rest or lose focus, their coordination is easily disrupted, exposing weaknesses. In a nearby open forest, a lion approached and observed a pack of wild dogs resting under the trees. As their alertness decreased, it changed direction, using the bushes to approach unnoticed. Just as the pack began to disperse, the lion suddenly accelerated, creating a disturbance and quickly isolating a dog at the edge of the formation. The moment the target separated from the pack, the lion immediately took control. The powerful attack injured the wild dog, quickly rendering it immobile. The remaining lions could only keep their distance and send warning signals. Eventually, the lion dragged its prey away from the area. In the savannas, woodlands, and semi-deserts of Africa, leopards are widely distributed and adaptable to a variety of environments. They often choose areas with large trees to climb and store food, avoiding other predators. With their solitary and highly efficient lifestyle, leopards maintain their advantage. However, when near the ground, pressure from other species begins to build. That pressure quickly becomes apparent when a pack of hyenas spots a leopard hunting alone in the jungle. They don't all attack at once, but spread out to surround it, constantly changing positions to maintain distance and press from multiple directions. When the leopard counterattacks, the hyena pack increases the pace of their approach, forcing it to constantly turn and unable to maintain its initial position. Under prolonged pressure, the leopard's stamina rapidly diminishes during the struggle. Despite being injured and surrounded from multiple sides, it waits for the right moment, taking advantage of a short gap to sprint away from the encirclement. The confrontation ended when the leopard left the area, with the hyena pack temporarily gaining the advantage. In a highly competitive environment, numbers often create a clear advantage over individual ability. Constant pressure is enough to change the course of events. And in such situations, survival doesn't lie in absolute victory, but in the ability to exit the confrontation at the right time. The wild constantly throws all species into unpredictable confrontations. In just a few fleeting seconds, speed, instinct, and situational awareness determine who gains control. The survivors aren't always the strongest, but those who make the right choices at the crucial moment. A single small mistake can completely reverse the course of events. In the wilderness, the honey badger moves slowly, observing and waiting for the moment to strike unexpectedly. Not relying on size or speed, it closes in at very short distances, forcing its opponent to react in a split second. These encounters don't last long because of strength, but end when the reaction time is disrupted and there's no chance of turning the tables. In the African savanna, lions live in expansive environments with abundant food sources and ample space for group hunting. Some populations exist in dry forests or scrublands, while Asian lions are adapted to the Indian forests. This helps them maintain their predatory position, while also creating opportunities for conflict. In the middle of the savanna, two honey badgers encounter two approaching lions, creating tension from the very beginning. Instead of retreating, the honey badgers lower their bodies, hold their positions, and observe the lions' reactions, forcing them to back down. The cautious approaches gradually turn into a tense standoff. The lions repeatedly approach to apply pressure, but are met with fierce resistance, causing the attack rhythm to become unstable and momentum to stall. The honey badgers hold their positions, using their tenacity and quick reflexes to avoid being overwhelmed. Ultimately, the lions retreat, and control changes hands. In this type of encounter, the outcome depends on controlling distance and maintaining a consistent pace of pressure over time. When one side fails to impose its own tempo, the advantage erodes gradually, and when the initiative changes, control rarely returns to its original state. In the African savanna and semi-deserts, hyenas thrive in hot, dry conditions, well adapted to limited water resources and ample space. Some species travel in packs, others operate alone, but all rely on coordination and endurance. This adaptable lifestyle allows them to proactively approach unpredictable targets. At the edge of the forest, a honey badger encountered a pack of hyenas foraging and immediately stopped to observe. Instead of avoiding them, it held its position, turning in various directions, forcing its opponents to probe. As the distance narrowed, the honey badger suddenly closed in, constantly changing direction to apply pressure, pushing the situation into a stalemate. situation quickly escalated as repeated approaches were thwarted by the honey badger's quick and decisive reaction. The honey badger maintained close proximity, using its tenacity to force its opponents to retreat step by step. Eventually, the hyenas slowed their approach and left. Control remained with the one standing firm. In such situations, the outcome doesn't come from numbers or initial strength, but from the ability to hold its position under pressure. When the pace of approach is broken, the advantage gradually diminishes. And when one side can no longer maintain pressure, and when the rhythm has been broken, the outcome rarely changes. On the African savanna grasslands, wild dogs live in packs and roam across vast spaces to hunt. They rely on speed, coordination, and long-distance running to maintain an advantage. This group hunting style often leads them to try to control their target with constant pressure from multiple directions. In the middle of the savanna, two honey badgers encountered two moving wild dogs. Instead of retreating, they held their ground, adjusting their stance in every direction, forcing their opponents to assess each move. As the distance narrowed, the honey badgers accelerated, shifting from defense to direct pressure. The wild dog's approaches were quick but inconsistent against the decisive response. The honey badgers maintained a close pace, constantly changing direction to disrupt their coordination and force them to retreat. Eventually, the wild dogs left, and from that point on, control was no longer challenged. From jungles to deserts and even shallow waters, snakes appear in many different environments, adapting with their ability to hide and react quickly. Some species climb trees, others move across hot sand or hunt near water sources. They rely on a split-second, precise strike, and that very moment opens the door to confrontation. On the grassland, the honey badger spotted a snake and stopped to observe, maintaining a distance to assess its position. It lowered its body, circling around, forcing the snake to turn in rhythmic movements. When an opening appeared, the honey badger suddenly accelerated, rapidly shifting from observation to a direct confrontation. The tense standoff ensued as both continuously shifted positions, but the relentless pace made it difficult for the snake to maintain a stable distance. The honey badger maintained pressure through persistence, forcing its opponent to react repeatedly and gradually lose its advantage, thus shifting control decisively to the one who initiated the attack, and the situation quickly came to a close. In dense forests, swamps, and riverbanks, pythons survive by their ability to hide and their physical strength rather than their venom. widely distributed across Africa, Asia, and Australia. They often lie still near water sources, waiting for prey to pass by. This ambush hunting method creates a decisive moment, thus initiating a confrontation. In a clearing near the edge of the forest, the honey badger spotted a python and stopped to observe, gradually closing the distance. It circled, changing its approach angle to force the python to adjust its position. When a gap opened up, the honey badger suddenly closed in, turning the situation into a defensive one. A tug-of-war ensued as the python tried to maintain a defensive posture with its body. But the relentless approach caused it to lose the initiative, making it difficult to maintain control. The honey badger maintained pressure and prevented the python from stabilizing. Ultimately, the python was overwhelmed. And from that point on, the situation quickly took shape, demonstrating the disparity created during the initial close-range approach. In a variety of environments, from rainforests to savannas and even near populated areas, leopards adapt flexibly thanks to their ability to hide and hunt alone. They can stalk for a long time before striking in seconds, and often drag the carcass of their prey up trees to prevent it from being stolen, which sometimes makes them easy targets. Hidden in the bush, the honey badger spotted a leopard approaching and maintained a cautious distance. It circled, forcing its opponent to constantly adjust its position, then suddenly closed in when an opening appeared, putting itself under pressure. The confrontation quickly escalated as the leopard lost its rhythm in the face of the intermittent close-range attacks. The honey badger constantly changed angles, closing in low and reacting quickly, using its thick skin to withstand the impact. Ultimately, the leopard retreated, and control shifted. In this type of encounter, the advantage lies not in the first strike, but in maintaining the pace of approach. When distance is controlled, opportunities for a quick counterattack narrow, and from that moment on, the chance of retaining the advantage is almost non-existent. Along rivers, lakes, and swamps, crocodiles live hidden in still water environments where the line between safety and danger is difficult to discern. They don't hunt by chasing but wait for the opportune moment, launching a quick and decisive attack when prey gets close. This hunting style puts them at a disadvantage when forced to confront their prey on land. At the water's edge, the honey badger spotted a young crocodile on the shore and stopped to observe, circling around to gauge its reaction. It maintained distance, forcing the crocodile to turn in various directions, then suddenly accelerated, closing in directly and cornering it. The confrontation was swift, as the crocodile lost its ability to maintain a stable reaction angle on land. The honey badger constantly shifted direction, staying low and applying pressure from multiple angles, preventing the crocodile from maintaining a steady reaction. Ultimately, the young crocodile was caught, pulled away from the water's edge, and became its meal. From then on, the battle ended with no possibility of reversal. The most striking commonality is the honey badger's ability to observe, approach closely, and maintain pressure in each encounter. The key takeaway lies in controlling distance and disrupting the opponent's reaction, not sheer strength alone, which determines the outcome. And once the initiative is established, the chances of a reversal are virtually non-existent.